This is a lecture from OpenTuition. To benefit from the lecture, you should download the free lecture notes from opentuition.com.
So continuing with chapter 4, we're going to have a look at an adjustment to profits, but this time it's the default cash basis. You'll see that a lot of the adjustments are similar, but of course there are a few differences. So example 2 there on page 49, we've got Giles. So Giles started to trade on the 1st of April. He's making up accounts to the 31st of March. And we've got receipts from customers, we've got bank transfers, we've got sale of a machine, we've got interest received on a bank account, and we've got total receipts there of 60,650. And then we've got our payments. So we've got total payments there of 37,450. We've got a car in there as well. We're told the car's got CO2 emissions of 85 grams per kilometre travelled. Is used 60% of the time for business purposes. And this time, Giles is going to claim that fixed rate mileage allowance. And he drove 15,000 miles in the year, of which 60% is for business purposes. So we're going to calculate Giles's tax adjusted trading profit for the year ended the 31st of March 2026. So Giles, now I'm going to show you two different ways of approaching a question like this. So the first one I'm going to do is the traditional adjustment to profits, like we've just done in that previous question with Jeremy. So I'm going to have a look at my receipts less my payments. So I've got receipts of 60,650, and I've got my payments, and my payments are 37,450, and that gives us our net receipts and that's 23,200. So that's the equivalent of our net profit per accounts effectively. So that's our net receipts, and then we say, well, okay, what do we need to adjust for? So looking at our cash receipts from customers, so cash receipts from customers, £20,000, yeah, absolutely fine. We've got bank transfers from customers, that's absolutely fine. We've got the cash receipt from a sale of a machine, yeah, that's also fine, because under the cash basis, remember, items of plant and machinery that we would be able to claim capital allowances on, when we buy them, anything that we pay for them is an allowable expense, and when we sell them, anything that we receive is going to be treated as trading income, with the exception of cars once again. We've got interest received on a bank account, which is 150. So you think, well, okay, that isn't trading income, is it? That's going to go to our income tax computation, but that's going to go under the savings income column. So we've got a problem with that. Now, it's included in our net receipts figure, so therefore what we need to do is we need to strip it out, don't we? Because it's income that's included in the accounts that isn't going to be taxed as trading income. So in our little adjustment to profits, we've got interest received, and we've got 150. Now, looking at the expenses, we need to see whether we need to add back any of these expenses. So we've got cash payments for suppliers for goods for resale. That's fine. Bank transfers for purchase of goods for resale. That's fine as well. Standing orders to utility companies, gas, water, etc. Fine. Bank transfer for the purchase of a car. Ooh. Now, if this was for the purchase of a van, that would be fine. If it was for the purchase of a computer or a machine, that would be fine. The fact that it's a car means that it's not fine. Yeah. So therefore we cannot have that as an expense, and therefore we need to add it back. So we've got the purchase of a car, 4,200, and that's a disallowed expense. We've got cheque payment from machinery. Well, as we've just said, that's absolutely fine. Petty cash payment for entertaining a customer. Ooh. No. Remember, entertaining staff would be fine. Entertaining anyone other than staff is not fine. So we need to add back that 50 quid. So add entertaining customer. It's a disallowed expense. We've got interest on bank loan. So we're assuming that the bank loan is going to be used for business purposes. We're not given any other information to the contrary. So therefore that's absolutely fine. Yeah. So that's fine. So the last thing to do is to do with the fixed rate mileage allowance in respect of the car. So we've driven 15,000 miles, 60% of it was business purposes, and we're claiming the fixed rate mileage allowance. Now, if you claim the fixed rate mileage allowance, then remember you can't claim anything else. So you can't claim capital allowances, you can't claim insurance, you can't claim fuel, servicing costs, etc. The only extras you could possibly claim if you claim the fixed rate mileage allowance would be things like parking and toll roads. That would be fine. But the fixed rate mileage allowance replaces everything else. So our fixed rate mileage allowance, so mileage allowance, and he's done 15,000 miles. 60% of it was for business purposes, and that works out to be 9,000. And remember, it's 45p for the first 10,000 miles, and then it drops to 25p per mile after that. But we're within the 10,000, so 9,000 at 45p per mile, and that means 4,050. Nearly as much as the car itself. But hey, so we can rule that off, and that gives us our tax adjusted trading profit . There's no capital allowances to claim under the cash basis unless it's cars, and we're not claiming capital allowances on cars in this one because he's claiming the fixed rate mileage allowance instead. So there's nothing else to deduct from that figure, and that gives us 23,000 23,250. So that's our tax adjusted trading profit, in this case using the cash basis. Now that's one way of doing it. Like I say, that's the sort of traditional adjustment to profits approach, but I am going to show you another way because it could be asked in different ways in the exam as part of a section C question, for example. So let's have a look at the alternative. And what we do under this one is we say, okay, cash receipts from customers. So cash receipts from customers. And of course, that is going to be taxed as trading profit. That's £20,000. We've got bank transfers from customers. And that's £38,000. So trading receipt. We've got the cash receipt from the sale of the machine. So cash receipt on the sale of a machine. Absolutely fine under the cash basis. And we've got interest received on a bank account. And for that, I'm going to put a 0, yeah, to show that there's no adjustment in this case. There's no adjustment because, of course, interest received on a bank account is not trading income. So we're not going to include it as part of our trading profits. So that gives us a total of 60,500. And then we've got payments. So we've got cash payments to suppliers. You can see straight away this is a bit more of a long-winded approach, but hey. So £1,200. Yeah, that's a trading expense. We've got bank transfers to suppliers, goods for resale of 22. And yeah, wholly and exclusively for the purposes of the trade. We've got standing orders to utility companies. Of 6,800. We've got the bank transfer for the purchase of a car. No. And once again, we cannot have that as an expense because it's a car. However, the machine we can. So anything other than cars, unless it's land and buildings, of course, which you can't have, would be fine. So purchase of a machine. £2,900. Yeah, absolutely, that's fine. Payment for entertaining customer. No. So once again, I'm going to put a 0 to show that we cannot include that as part of our trading profits. And interest on a bank loan, once again, I'm assuming that that the bank loan is for trading purposes because the question doesn't tell us otherwise. So interest paid on the bank loan is 300. And then the only other thing that we've got to deduct is the fixed rate mileage allowance in respect of the car. So fixed rate mileage payments, allowance, sorry, not payments, fixed rate mileage allowance. And that's this, we've already calculated that, so it's the same figure that we calculated before, which is 4,050. So we add all that up, That works out to be 37,250. So we've got trading income less trading expenses, and that works out to be, surprise, surprise, 23,250. The exact same figure as before, but just two different ways of approaching it. So that's our tax adjusted trading profit. And once again, no capital allowances, because under the cash basis, we can only have capital allowances on cars. And in this case, we're actually claiming the fixed rate mileage allowance instead. So 23,250 is our tax adjusted trading profit, and we get the same figure even with two different approaches. Now, this chapter that we've just covered is pretty important because adjustment to profit is quite a popular area in tax exams. So it could be, say, part of your section B, which is your little scenario with your 5 objective test questions, section B, or it could be in section C, which is part of a longer question. Now, a lot of the rules that we've looked at in that chapter are also applicable to companies. There are a few differences, but we'll get onto that when we do companies. But it is very examinable. So you need to be pretty comfortable with what you're doing. And as it says there in exam questions in section C, you are going to be required to put a 0 in there to show that there's no adjustment. Highly examinable. Yeah, so make sure that you're comfortable with that chapter in arriving at your tax adjusted trading profits, either under the accruals basis or under the cash basis.